Hello guys, this is Web TV Sri Lanka. Welcome to a brand new science lesson of grade 10 science, and this is chapter 8. So let's see. Features of organisms.
So, before we start our today's video, I have something to tell you. Yes, you are correct. It's all about DP education. So, I have small request, guys. Please, I mentioned a link, right? It's a Google form. So, if you can, guys, fill it and submit it, it would be really helpful for you because there will be updates, right? Day-to-day updates about the DP education and right day-to-day updates. So let's talk about this. So DP education. So you guys need to download the app, right? So basically, now guys, I think it has more 500,000 downloads, right? More than 500,000, 500K just. So you can simply go and select a grade and you can, let's say in my channel in 50 Sri Lanka, we don't have mathematics, right? So you guys can simply click here and choose whichever the lesson and you can simply watch it. Advantage of this DP education app is they categorized, right? They have already categorized the relevant lessons, right? So you can easily find out that. And also they have mentioned about the DP kids, right? So and also let's talk about the most interesting factor. It's about DP University. I think you may have heard about this, but unfortunately, you can't access this Digital University via the app, right? You guys need to surf the internet, right? So, free courses, right? So, it mentioned about 8,000 free courses from Harvard, Cambridge, let's say Stanford, Berkeley, right? Coursera, right? Like that. Free 8,000 courses. So if you need to just weave all the courses, right? You may be able to know all the free available courses here, right? As an example, let's type graphic designing. Okay, here all the available free graphic designing courses, right? LinkedIn Learning, in Skillshare, you may have heard about that, right? Udemy, Allison, like that. So many various types of free websites are available. So you guys need to go to the description and fill out the Google form and register to the TP education, right? So got it. Let's get back to the video.
So this is the content of this lesson. Cellular organization is our first topic, and then nutrition, respiration, irritability and coordination, excretion, reproduction, and growth and development. The final topic is virus. So let's get into it. The DNA isolated from a 1,000-year-old fossil can be but to obtain new organisms with all characteristics using gene technology. The common characteristics of living organisms can be listed out as below. Cellular organization, nutrition, respiration, irritability and coordination, excretion, movement, reproduction, and growth and development. So, in this lesson, we are going to discuss these common characteristics of living organisms. Our first topic is cellular organization. The structure of a unicellular organism is made up of the cytoplasm and organelles enclosed by a plasma membrane. This unicellular unit is an organism which shows living characteristics. When a water sample of a pond or hair extraction is observed using a microscope, you can see unicellular organisms and some microorganisms as well. In a unicellular organism, organelle level organization can be seen. The bodies of the multicellular organisms are composed of different types of cells. Those cells are important in different functions. The multicellular bodies are composed of different types of cells, and those cells are important in different functions of the multicellular body. A multicellular organism possesses a tissue and a system level organization. The smallest structural and functional unit at living condition is the cell. The smallest structural and functional unit of a living being is the cell. A group of cells modified to perform a specific function is called a tissue. A group of cells is known as a tissue. A collection of tissues from an organ and a collection of organs forms a system, and systems make an organism. This is the organizational levels that can be identified in a living being and the blood circulatory system and how it becomes complex from cellular level to system level. So this is the organizational level, cell first and then tissue and then organs and then systems and finally organism. So the blood circulatory system and how it becomes complex from cellular level to system level. This is the organ and this is the blood circulatory system. Our second subtopic is nutrition. Those processes by which the energy and the materials are obtained for the maintenance of life is known as nutrition. Energy is needed for the cell growth and to repair the worn out structures. This energy is obtained by nutrients. The organisms that produce their own food or the nutrients by themselves are known as autotrophic organisms. The organisms that produce their own food for their living are known as autotrophic organisms. Autotrophism can be divided into two categories according to the type of energy they use for food production. If light energy is used, they are known as photoautotrophics, and if energy is obtained by a chemical reaction, they are known as chemoautotrophic. Most of the plants are photoautotrophic. If light energy is used to produce food for their living, those plants are photoautotrophics, and if they use chemical reactions or chemical energy, those plants are chemoautotrophic. But most of the plants are photoautotrophic. Most bacteria are chemoautotrophic. Production of food inside the chloroplast of plant cells using chlorophyll, which is a specific organic compound, is called photosynthesis. Production of food inside the chloroplast of plant cells using chlorophyll, which is a specific organic compound, and that's called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis can be expressed by the below equation. Carbon dioxide plus water plus light energy plus chlorophyll equal glucose plus oxygen. So this is the food and these are the materials needed to make foods in plants. So respiration. All organisms need energy for their metabolism. They obtain this energy by breaking down of food inside the cell that they have produced or obtained by other means. The process by which the stored food is transformed into energy inside the cells is known as cellular respiration. The The process by which the stored food is transformed into energy inside the cells is known as cellular respiration. Cellular respiration is a series of biochemical reactions, and the respiration, which is an important characteristic of life, cannot be observed directly. So, this is an activity to observe the respiration of a living being. So experiment to show the release of CO2 during respiration. We inhale oxygen and exhale CO2 during respiration. So we are going to prove that now. Materials required: lime water KOH, and that means potassium hydroxide. Water 5 equal bottles with corks, L shape equal size glass tubes, a frog or suction. You can use some plants instead of a frog. So you need to arrange the circuit as in this picture, and let's see the observation and conclusion. The color of lime water in B does not change as CO2 in air that enters through B dissolve in KOH of vessel A. But after some time, the lime water in vessel D turned to milky it because of the released CO2 by the frog during respiration. A control experiment can be used without a frog in C. Accordingly, it is confirmed that CO2 is released as byproduct of respiration. This experiment can be conducted again using germinating green. So we prove that we exhale carbon dioxide. So another activity to prove we inhale oxygen. We use oxygen for respiration. So the materials required are two conical flasks, glass tubes, rubber tubes, small test tube, two beakers, colored water and germinating seeds, and also potassium hydroxide. The method for this activity is close the flask with a cork lid connected to a rubber tube and a U-tube as shown in the diagram. After some time, tighten the rubber tube and observe the water level in U-tube. U-tube means this tube here. CO2 released during respiration of seeds in Whereas A dissolves in KOH, and that means potassium hydroxide. O2 in the flask is absorbed by the seeds for respiration. To fill that gap, reduction in volume of air is happened here. To fill that gap, air in the tube flows into the flask. The water column in the glass tube is drawn up, so it is clear that O2 is absorbed for respiration of organisms. No such a change in B setup as absorbed volume of O2 is equal to the released volume of O2. The conclusion of this activity. Volume of CO2 in the flask is negligible, and in respiration absorbed volume of O2 is equal to the released volume of CO2. Irritability and coordination. A change which is strong enough to bring about a response is known as a stimulus. A change which is strong enough to bring a response is known as a stimulus. The reactions according to the changes in the environment are known as responses. The reactions according to the changes in the environment are known as responses. And the ability to respond to stimuli received from internal or an external environment is known as irritability. The final one is the communication between different organs during response to a stimulus is known as coordination. You need to by heart these definitions. Excretion. At the same time, the materials which are not used and the waste materials that are produced during the processes in the body are released to the environment. The sum of chemical and physiological activities or building up and breaking down of materials within the cell are known as metabolic activities. Removal of the waste products from the body that are produced during the metabolism is known as excretion. Removal of the waste products during the body that are produced during the metabolism is known as excretion. So there are three main excretory materials in our body, and those three are sweat, exhale gas, and urine. So the compounds in sweat is water and salt. In exhale gas CO2 and H2O means water, and this is carbon dioxide. in urine, urea, water, and salt. The main excretory materials of organisms are urea, salts, CO2, and water. There are organ systems present in the organism body for excretion. Nitrogenous excretion of human mainly takes place by the kidney. Plants release CO2 during respiration and O2 during photosynthesis through the lenticels and stomata of the leaves. That can be referred to as excretion too. Organisms fulfill their requirements, food, protection, reproduction, their requirements mainly with the help of movement. During this, the whole organism or a part of the organism is moved. Unicellular organisms use cilia, flagella, or cytopodia for movement. The organism Paramecium use cilia for their locomotion. Flagella is used by Euglena and Cytopodia by amoeba. Multicellular organisms move the whole body or a part of the body with the help of muscles. Most of them possess organs for locomotion. Similarly, the organelles within the cell have the ability to move. Movement is a living characteristic of organisms and it is essential for their existence. You may have observed the growth of a shoot tip of a potted plant towards the light which is placed closer to a window. The shoot apex of a plant glows towards light and the root apex towards the gravity. And let's talk about reproduction. Production of a new generation by unicellular or multicellular organism for the continuation of their species is known as reproduction. Reproduction is two types and they are sexual and asexual reproduction. During asexual reproduction, a single organism can produce an identical new offspring without the contribution of another organism. Example, propagation of new plants by vegetative structures of plants. Growth and development. The life of multicellular plants or animals starts from a single cell. Tissues which are modified to perform a specific function arise by the division of the above single cell zygote. The zygote, which is the result of the sexual reproduction of human, develops into an embryo within the uterus and later transforms into an offspring. It is useful to study about the above process to understand growth and development. Mainly, the increase in number of cells by the cell division contributes towards the growth of a multicellular organism. The cell growth means the irreversible increase of dry mass of the cell. The cell growth means the irreversible increase of the dry mass of cell. Development means the increase in the complexity of the cell. Accordingly, growth and development can be expressed in three steps: the increase of the size and the volume of the cell, irreversible increase in size of the cell, and the second one is increase in number of cells by cell division, and the final or third one is cell differentiation. Sometimes living or non-living nature of some substances cannot be identified easily. Example, virus in between living and non-living characteristics. So our final topic is virus. So let's get into it. They are very small and can be observed only through the electron microscope and are about 1/1000 of the size of a bacteria. They show living or non-living features according to their status. Viruses with different shapes and sizes have been identified. A virus becomes active only inside the host cells. So guys, thanks for watching, and if you learn anything from this video, put a like, and if you have any problem related to this lesson, leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe. So bye bye.